Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. I pray the Lord bless you and may He bless us today. We want to look at Philippians chapter 4, verses 11 and 12. Have you noticed that in life it doesn't take much for life to crash in on you? One phone call, one meeting, one text. And just like that, everything that felt secure and solid starts to crack. The praise fades, the plans stall. You're left wondering if any of it was ever stable to begin with. Most of us are taught early on, when we are young, to tie our worth to what we can do, where we went to school, what we earn, what kind of job I have, what people say about us. We build this whole system around achievement, hoping it'll hold, hoping it'll steady our life. But what happens when it doesn't? When the lights go out and no one is cheering? See, Paul knew what that felt like. He's been on top. He had power, reputation, and leadership at one point. Then he lost it all. And in that loss, he found something better. I would say he found something greater. So here he is sitting in a prison cell, and he writes, I have learned to be content, whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need. I know what it is to have plenty. I've learned the secret of being content in any and every situation. And that comes from Philippians chapter 4, verse 11 and 12. See, this wasn't a theory for Paul. It wasn't some spiritual optimism, think positive stuff. This was a man who had been beaten, betrayed, and forgotten. And still, he had peace. Paul had been the success story and he had been the failure. And somewhere along the way, he stopped letting results tell him who he was. He says, I learned. What an amazingly beautiful word. I learned. Words, I should say. Those words are important. He didn't just wake up one day, now I know Jesus, everything's going to be fine. No, he grew into it. He practiced it. He failed and he got back up, and it came slow, like learning to walk again after an injury or learning a new language when you're not a kid anymore. And we know how hard that is. And that's good news. It means you're not stuck, I'm not stuck. And you don't have to keep chasing things that fall apart. You can learn a different way. And even if you weren't raised that way, even if your first instinct is still to prove something, Paul shows us a better way. Someone once said, if your worth is tied to your stuff, whether it's job or wealth, whatever, when the stuff goes, your worth goes too. The things we're told to chase, status, success, visibility, they don't last. And when they break apart, if they're holding your identity and you've been placing your identity on top of that, you break with them. See, Paul had lost the platform. He had lost the influence, but he hadn't lost his footing because he wasn't standing on a career. He was standing on Jesus, the rock solid foundation of our life. That's why the chains didn't crush him. That's why he could worship while locked up in Roman dungeon. His joy wasn't nailed to the circumstances he found himself in. It was tied to no other than Jesus, the resurrected one. He's not saying dreams are wrong. Obviously, they're not. He's saying they make bad anchors. Goals are fine, but they make bad foundation. Work hard, of course, but don't let your soul hang on the outcome. If one bad review can ruin you, that's not peace. Instead, try this. Take one day and step off the scoreboard. Stop counting achievements. No checking who's ahead, no refreshing feeds, no chasing the next thumbs up. Just be still with Jesus in your actual life. Let the world spin without your input. That's okay. And watch what happens. You might feel something rise up in that stillness, a quiet silence you forgot was possible. Maybe that's where Paul's secret begins. There is the quiet that we keep avoiding. But Paul learned how to enter into that quiet. So here's a real question. What's your peace built on? What is your life built on? If it's built on your image or your output or your job or your paycheck, it's going to fumble. But if it's built on Jesus, it'll hold. Paul had to learn that through loss, through years of training. And what that says to us is that we can learn it too. Paul says, let me repeat, I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation. Philippians 4:12. See, that kind of peace doesn't come from climbing higher. It doesn't come from striving more. It comes from letting go of who you think you have to be. And then hold on to the one who doesn't change, who knows who you are. And if the ladder disappears, if the job disappears, the corner office is not there, let it, because the peace Jesus gives doesn't collapse when your plans, when your goals collapse. Your job isn't your anchor, my friends. Your title isn't your foundation. Jesus is. At least for us who believe in Jesus. At least for those who call themselves followers of Jesus. And you know what? Jesus is enough. He always was enough. He always is enough. He always will be enough. And may you find that peace in him today. God bless you. And I'll see you tomorrow. And if you haven't clicked that like button, please help me out. Do that so others can find us. Share if you can. And subscribe if you want these videos right away. God bless you.